stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Welcome back to Raw Recovery, a Trudging Together podcast. My name is Dion. I am your host today, and we are back to our normal format on Raw Recovery of having individual stories. Today, my guest is Jonathan A. Jonathan, great to have you. Thanks for taking your time, man.
Thanks for having me, Dion. I appreciate you asking.
Absolutely. We get now, Jonathan and I don't know each other too well. We were just kind of getting to know each other. I went to a meeting last week, and Lucas J, who comes on the show quite often, he said, "Hey, Dion, you should ask John to be on. He'd be a great fit." My friend Amber absolutely agreed. So I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited to sit down and do another story. It's been a little bit, but this is the part of the show where I turn it over to the speaker. We all know how Raw Recovery works. It is not my show. I am the host. I'm just the host here. Otherwise, we leave it to the speaker to talk what they want to talk about here. And it helps make it into a conversation. So we're going to go ahead and get started. John, do you prefer John or Jonathan? I'm presuming
Jonathan, John, whatever you want to call
Okay. All right. Well, the show is all yours. Take it away. Thanks for being here, brother.
Awesome. I appreciate you asked me to be here. My name's Jonathan. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, John.
I woke up this morning grateful, dude.
Yay.
Grateful to wake up without the obsession to take a drink. Because there's so many years I was waking up and that was the first thing that came to my mind, and it didn't happen this morning, and it hasn't happened for over 6 years now.
Wow.
And I owe it all to a recovery program. My program started in Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay.
I got my 6th DWI.
Cool.
And took that many times for me to finally say, maybe probably having a problem with alcohol,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my life running away from it. I grew up in Connecticut and
Okay.
moved here 17 years ago, Florida, St. Petersburg,
And
Florida.
that's where you're at now, Florida? Okay.
Yeah, St. Petersburg, Florida. It's a beautiful place. I bounce back and forth. Hopefully I can get to later in the story. I'm a lot in Connecticut lately.
Connecticut's beautiful in its own right, too.
They're both
some fantastic.
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to go to two beautiful places and spend half my time here, the better part of the half too. When it's not too hot here, I go down there.
Oh, life's so bad, huh?
Yeah, it's so hard. So yeah, after the 6th DWI, man, I was going to court and I stopped drinking and I thought I was going to jail, man. I was never going to recover from this.
Yeah.
I was not going to recover from this. This is the end. This is the end. And I stopped drinking though, just because I had fear of going to jail and everything else. And I stopped until the day I went in front of the judge. And then the day I went in front of the judge, he's like, we're guilty of first-time offender. So it was like really just a slap on the wrist.
Wow.
Compared to the consequences that I thought I was going to be facing, Come to find out they didn't know about any of the other DWIs and out of state. And I had warrants. They didn't know about any of those warrants, and I just got off, man.
Wow.
And you know what happens with that? You know what I mean? Oh, it's not that. Oh, look, life isn't all that bad. Let's go out and celebrate with a beer or two.
Well, how else are you gonna celebrate? I don't know. I didn't know how else.
A steak dinner and a couple beers.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time that it ever hit me that, man, I can't just have one drink because I had 2 beers and I was at the package store and I was a handle in within a few hours, I
Yeah.
was the handle and from that point on, like for maybe for a couple of weeks, I was really just down in my drinking, and from that point on, I wanted to stop drinking. I remember telling my parents, "Man, I had to go see a therapist." I'm like,
Okay.
"Mom, I really hope this therapy thing works."
Yeah.
It didn't.
Okay.
It was just like an outpatient program once a week, and it didn't work.
Okay.
Um, and man, just like trying to control my drinking within that time was driving me freaking insane,
Just
dude.
if during the week, like from session to
No,
session.
from from the time went to this, it was Suncoast Safety Council,
Okay.
where I got the therapist, and then I was gonna have to take and alcohol tests,
Okay.
and I'm trying to manage my drinking. I'm still drinking in the morning, but then I'm drinking down water because I might take a drug test and slugging down water and
Yeah.
during the day and popping as many minerals and I don't know creatine and everything else. The insanity of this
Yeah.
disease that I think that's
It is.
normal, you know.
For
But trying
alcoholic, yes, that is normal behavior for an alcoholic.
right, and just trying to control it was driving me absolutely
Yeah.
insane, man.
Ouch, man.
And it wasn't that I came into AA. Luckily, a byproduct of that therapy sessions was AA.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
I was required to do 48 AA meetings. And just to show how honest I was on the things, everybody else I talked to in that therapy session says, "How many meetings do you have to go to?" They're like, "Oh, 6." You
Yeah.
know, I had to do 48. The guy knew, everything that I wrote down. I was rigorously honest. I shouldn't have done that. Well,
Oh,
you know what?
no.
It probably saved my life that I was
Yeah.
able to be rigorously honest on that, and I had those consequences.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I went to my first AA meeting. I stuck around for the second AA meeting, and I don't know if something happened or not, but man, I woke up the next morning and I had a decision. You know what I mean? I had a handle underneath my sink,
Okay.
and it was either drink or get on a bus at 6:30 in the morning, which I had never been on a public bus before.
Okay.
Drive, get on that bus, go downtown, and go to a meeting. It was a
Yeah.
meditation meeting, man. And so I made that decision to get on the bus. Man,
Oh,
granted, I waited a while. And I was in not a time crunch, but I had to get a bunch of signatures for my
yeah.
AA.
Yep. You got to get signed off on them.
Yeah, but I I I didn't have to go that Saturday morning, but I knew if I didn't go, I probably was going to get drunk, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
do that anymore. So I proceeded to go to that meeting and just bawled my eyes out, which was
Hmm.
another spiritual experience for me because I never cried in front of anybody. And
But we were taught that men don't cry. Got to
absolutely,
suck it
yeah,
up. Yeah. Yeah. Got to suck it up.
um,
Grow a set of balls. You got to be a man. Yeah.
right.
That was bad
But I knew
information.
something had to change, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something there. I knew I had to change, and somebody. I just bawled the whole meeting. These
Aw.
people were awesome, though. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, look, what can we do for you? There's another meeting. I already knew
Aw.
about the other meeting right up the road.
Cool,
Can we give
man.
you a ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go." So that's where I met my sponsor, and I went to that meeting looking like probably awesome, right? I probably looked my best after crying
I'm
for
sure.
about an hour.
Black
Second day,
eyes, bloated.
second day without a drink.
You're trying to hold
Oh,
your coffee. You're all, yeah, I'm doing great, man.
yeah. But I think God has a weird way of this universe, whatever you want to call God, has a weird way of doing things, man. Like if I
Yeah.
it was as outside at those Sunday morning meetings, they were outside,
Okay.
right? And it was like a different atmosphere for me. It was like, wow, these people aren't out here trying to
Mm-hmm.
hide the fact that they're an alcoholic, or
Yeah.
hide they don't seem to be ashamed, and they're out here in the public, and we're not in this dirty church, which I always
Basement.
thought alcoholics,
Yeah.
yeah, that I always thought Alcoholics Anonymous always was.
It's a good
Uh,
point. I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
but we were outside and we were talking about recovery, and they were talking about their disease like it wasn't any big deal to them anymore.
Yeah.
And openness about it and no shame about it. And that was like that that hit me, it's like, okay. But I found an awesome sponsor, man. He got me working the steps right away. Told me to read up to page 63 in the big book. That's how desperate I was. I didn't even have a big book yet. I had to go to another meeting after that. Of course, I had to
get a big book.
Of course, I had to get my paper signed too. So to get 3 done in the half a morning or in the morning on Monday was nice. But there was something more that I wanted because I got that big book and I called him within 3 hours.
And you kept going back to that place. You could have gone to all these different meetings or whatever, but you also went back to that one.
Yeah. So I read up to that. He told me, read up to page 63 of the big book, give me a call, let me know when you're done. I read up to page 63 of the big book. 3 hours later, called me. He's like, dude, that's the fastest anybody's read it.
That's pretty fast reading.
It's just I was ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I had met that man 3 months before, I wouldn't have been ready probably. I had to be ready to listen, to change, to do the work.
Yeah.
And that's where the journey began, man. And I haven't stopped since then. I've made recovery my way of living because that's what my sponsor said to do. It's tough in the beginning. I will look online and people are saying on Facebook, "Oh, I haven't slept." I'm like, man, I don't miss those days, dude. When you do early recovery, when you can't sleep.
Yep.
Luckily, my sponsor was like, man, when you feel that way, do your step work. Just go into your 4-step and keep doing it. Keep doing it like your life depends on it because it does.
Absolutely.
So that's all I kept doing. And I had an awesome sponsor. He didn't tell me, I don't know. He just always had work for me to do. And the solution for him is like, I had to call him every day. He's like, how are you at? Where are you at with this? Where are you at with that? So I remember shortly after I had called my sponsor and said, man, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to a meeting today because I promised him I would make it to a meeting every single day. I'd call him every day. And I called him. I said, I was right after one of these therapy sessions. Man, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to a meeting today. And it's like, I guess you don't want what I have. And it's something just resentment, like instant resentment. This is one of the first times that resentment never paid in my favor, You there, Dion? You kind of cut off. I can keep talking, just keep things going. It looks like it's still recording, so I'm going to keep going until you come back. I lost my train of thought then. Now I'm really off. So I'm stuck. Oh, so he always had things for me to write down, and I kept writing things down. I kept writing my 4-step, and every time I called him, that resentment turned into, I'm going to do this because you don't think I can do this.
Real quick, Jonathan, I don't know if you noticed, but we had no internet for the last 2 minutes. My internet.
I know where we dropped off, and I kept sharing.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and start from there? Go ahead and start where you knew we left off. I apologize to anybody
we left
listening.
Off with the resentment, like my first resentment towards a sponsor. And if you've never had a resentment towards your sponsor, I think you're lying to me.
Yeah. Some of us sponsors make sure you have resentments against us so we can show you.
I think mine did too. I think my sponsor definitely said, hey, because I don't know, the resentment I had towards him saying that I don't want what he has was a fuel to my fire, and it just like, I don't. But it was also, man, not that I don't want to let this guy down. That was part of it, but it was also, man, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to feel like this again. So let me do this. Let me just show him wrong, just to prove him wrong. It was life-saving, man. So I just kept doing it. And I've been doing this to the best of my ability. And I listened to my sponsor, and I got through the 4-step, which is the hardest part, right? And I think I've done other recovery programs too, Dharma recovery. We were talking about it before this started.
Sure, yeah.
I think in each and every program, there's always a look within. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What is it within yourself that's
Hmm.
bothering you, that's
Yeah.
creating this chaos in your life?
Yep.
This desire to drink and drug to the point where it's all you think about. You know, and
Hmm.
when I say I'm grateful to wake up this morning without that obsession, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like the drink or the drug was the only thing on my mind all the time.
Yeah.
You know, when can I get out of work so I can do what I want to do, which is drink and drink to excess?
Yeah. Yep. All the programs that really work have a few either steps or they call them different things so that it always does. But there's always a self-examination step that gets it down to causes and conditions and the root of the problem of what was actually going on. Um,
Right.
and it always leads us back to selfishness, fear, those types of things. And that's why it works. And then we tell somebody that, and we are relieved of
And
that burden.
there's a lot of religion. Like I had a
Sure.
big. I was born and raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school, and I
Okay.
had a resentment about having to tell my priest everything about everything about it. But you look at it more and more, and look at different religions, and it's like all religions is that interconnectedness with another human being
Hmm.
that will bring you to peace.
Yes.
And that's that interconnected, that not non-lying, that openness, uh, the ability to be vulnerable in front of somebody, and
Yeah.
that's the thing that I think a lot of religions teach. They don't do a very effective teaching. They just say you got to do it, right? They
Yeah.
don't get to the nuts and bolts about why you have to do it.
Yes. And that
Why you
and
have to
AA
do it
does
is
that.
and why you have to do it is to be sober in AA, right? Why you have to do that in life is to stay happy, joyous, and free.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't like I always thought it was. Oh, you're making me do this because you want to know my sins, because you want to hold them against me later in life, or something like that. But that's not the case. It was never about me. It was never about you taking my information and using it against me. Even with the
Yeah.
priest, even with the
Yeah.
priest. But that's in my alcoholic head. That's what it turned into.
I
Um,
I think the biggest difference for me, because I mean, Catholics, they have, you go into the booth, you do your confession, but then there's a penance. You have to do 5 Hail Marys, do this, do that, or lash yourself on the back with a whip 5 times or so. Where when we do it in AA, the end result is forgiveness.
mm,
And I think that, and I know that even the penance part is supposed to end up in forgiveness. The feeling that God has forgiven me for my derelictions, right? And that I can forgive myself. And since I've done that, I can forgive other people for what they've done. So it kind of gets passed on.
lot of learning to do when you first get into AA, and it's still like 6 years into recovery. I'm still learning that, man. I can still
Yeah.
hold on to that and forget to forgive.
Mm,
It's and I'm glad that I don't have to hold that thing. Dude,
yeah.
like it's so easy nowadays just to tell somebody how I'm feeling or what's bothering me, or like I realize it's me. Like, I love our 10th step where like we
Huh.
do it right out of the book, where it's.
Favorite step. It's my
Yeah,
favorite
it's
step.
it's right out of the book. It's like, man, first thing you do is turn to God, ask Him to remove whatever it is in you that's bothering you.
Yeah.
That's what 6 and 7 is about, right? Your character defects. I think standing in the way of you being happy, joyous, and free.
Yeah.
And then the 10th step is just, man, okay, I realize that now, and when it crops up, I got to take this spiritual action
Hmm.
and ask God to remove it. Talk to another human being, like I've been taught since I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Tell somebody about it instead of
Mhm.
trying to hide it and shelter it and keep it right here, and
Yeah.
then it just builds, and it builds and
It's like
crushing.
Gollum with the one ring. You're all, this is my precious.
Yeah,
It's all mine. We get real,
yeah,
you know, that fear that people might discover that we're not as well as we thought we put out, right?
yeah. And
And
that's another benefit of step 5 is when I spewed all that, I just hit it with my sponsor with the biggest, darkest things that I get
yeah,
first, right? I did it first, and he's like, "Oh, you too?" Like,
yeah,
oh,
that's what I love about sponsorship. You know,
yeah,
and of course, all the examples I have, are riddled with stuff. You don't mind things being a little tough to you. This is the way I explain it to when I do my fourth and fifth step with my sponsees. I tell them, a lot of times what happens is the sponsee will say is, I had sex with a chicken, and the sponsor says, did yours die too? That's what it's like doing the fifth step, because we're a lot alike. And that fourth and fifth step, once we realize that, wow, I am so much like my sponsor, the loneliness goes away. And I don't feel like a fraud in my own AA meeting anymore.
Monster. I usually say monster.
Monster. Yeah.
I was like, yes, all of that.
Oh, it's service work. You do a lot of service work?
I do. I am. I started, at my home group like everybody else. Like,
yeah,
service work is funny. The first time I made coffee, this guy that's an old timer at my home group came up to me and said, "Oh, you got to take it out of the pouch and put it into a new filter to make the coffee." And I was like, "What are you talking about? It makes the better coffee." I'm like, "What are you talking about, right?" But this is how willing I was to listen. The next day, I did what he suggested and put the coffee into the thing because, okay, if it makes you happy, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, we're learning.
Yeah, we were talking about right when I came in, COVID started, so they were closing down my room, and luckily they made it gave me opportunity. I was 3 months sober when they closed down the rooms, and I think it was in less than 3 months. But anyways, it gave me an opportunity to be on service on because I'm a techie kind of guy, so I knew how to use Zoom, and I didn't know how to use Zoom, but I picked up on it really quick, and I can do security and chair some of the meetings, and it gave me an opportunity to become part of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah,
and I felt a part of at that point. You know what I mean? I had worked the steps. I was through my 10th step. I was doing 10, 11, 12. My sponsor had given me the keys of the kingdom and said, go out and start helping other people. And that's how it started. It starts in service.
Yeah.
Right. Getting comfortable talking about it with other people first. And I'm a Surface junkie now. It's the way it is, man. I do. I was GSR. Like, I got not attacked, but bombarded by a couple of women at a different meeting. Okay. And they're like, oh, one of them was the DCM in the area, and they're like, oh, your home group's looking for a GSR. You're passionate about AA. Why don't you do that? And I was like, oh, can't say no to AA. And I wanted to find out what it is.
Yep.
There's also a book I read like literally the weekend before these women had come up. It's the Untold Bobby B, the story of her untold communicator.
Okay.
She was our second secretary of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, okay. That's why it sounded familiar. Okay.
In this book, it just describes all of the things that she did along with other people in AA and to just keep this thing going right at the turn of the Jack Alexander article in 1941. Yeah. So all of the things that they had been doing got me kind of inspired. Like, man, what are they doing that I got to be able to do some more? I got to do more. You know what I mean? So the very next week, these women, it's funny how God works. They come up to me and say, "Oh, your home group needs a GSR." Okay.
So you took it? What was that experience like?
Oh, I love GSR. I'm still in general service.
It takes a unique person to be a GSR. I think it's probably one of the harder volunteer jobs at one. So good on you, man. Good on you.
One of the most gratifying though, because you don't realize how much happens in Alcoholics Anonymous.
What needs to happen? Yeah.
Yeah, until you get involved. And then you can see what's going on in New York, and you see that like it's exploded for me. I'm just a junkie. So now
I get it.
I got into archives, so I was doing a lot of archives. I was helping move boxes and everything else. I've gone to the workshops and everything else, but that wasn't really my calling. Like I had to stand at the Carry the Message Day. We do a Carry the Message Day where all the standing committees pitch their committee, and they asked me to stand for the tech committee because the tech chair couldn't come and just make the announcement. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now you're going to be tech chair. I'm like, dude, when did I sign up for this?
Hey, well, you don't volunteer. You're voluntold. right?
Absolutely. So, but it's good because there was no structure. There's only one guy doing all the tech, so it's good to be able
Uh,
to hit. Since I'm pretty good at recruiting, so I've got like 5 or 6 guys now in the tech committee, and
okay.
we're still weaving things out and trying to. We got to make a motion to even create this tech committee because we've
Sure you
just
do.
we've
Everything.
been doing it. We've been doing it like behind the scenes, but there's no formal committee that needs to be
Okay.
in the book
Yeah.
for Alcoholics Anonymous. I've also taken on a DCM position, so I have a sub district that I go to. Um, I go to the meetings, and then they all know who I am, and they don't. Not, I have one GSR dude out of like 10 meetings, but it's like Southside CP. Nobody wants to do general service work. And that's okay, man. The way I say it is that I have to go up to my reports. I'm like, yeah, I can't strike up interest in these people. But what I do is I
Hmm.
try to learn the most that I can
Yeah.
because that's all I can do right now, right?
Hmm.
So we've been doing a general service manual workshop with one of the trustees. She's a Class B trustee. Her name is
Okay.
Carolyn Walsh. She's a Class B trustee. She's one of the boozers. But they have a lot of past delegates, past trustees, people on
Yeah.
the board of directors. Bob Wilcox, our general manager, came in one
Yep.
time and
Yep.
spoke about it. We're just going through the concepts right now. We're in like concept 10 right now. So, just trying to soak in as much knowledge I can so I could be of maximum service, right? That's one
Yeah.
of the things that my sponsor kind of drilled in my head, or I heard it somewhere else, like maximum service. What are
That's
you doing for
maximum.
Alcoholics
It
Anonymous?
is. Yeah. Yep.
And when I do it maximum service, man, I'm happy, joyous, and free.
Absolutely. That's what's great about AA is there's so much different types of service work that depending on your personality, we've got a place for you. Maybe
Absolutely.
you're not tech and you'd rather greet people as they come in. Maybe you wouldn't mind being the secretary. There's a lot of moving parts just to start an AA meeting. It is not just about, I mean, it is about grabbing a big book and 2 alcoholics and sitting down. Sure, it is. But to really get it going, it takes a lot of effort from a lot of different people.
Keep
Every-
it going. Hard part. Keep it going. So for the next person, like that's our responsibility, I think.
Yeah. Well, I
Somebody,
call AA the ultimate pay it forward.
hmm,
Yeah.
yeah. And I do it. A couple of the other ones. I go to Dharma Recovery, but it doesn't seem like there was
How is
anybody
Dharma
that.
recovery kind of different from AA, do you think?
Oh, it's all Buddhist based, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path,
Okay.
and it similar but not the same, man. It's like think before you like the wise. They have the Eightfold Path is. I'm not going to be able to say it verbatim. I have a book somewhere, but
You
like
try.
wise mindfulness, wise intentions, wise
Yeah.
speech. Think before you talk to somebody. It's like restraint of tongue and pen, right?
Yeah. These are all Buddhist
And
sayings.
they're all mingled in, and like I started going for the meditation aspect of it to be I have a place to
Okay.
go where I can sit and meditate in a group.
Mm.
And that was, so that, and it's nice. It was good. But I can't like when I go there, I can't help but talk about Alcoholics Anonymous because it's where I get sober and it's like my
Yeah.
bread and
That's,
butter.
yeah. I prefer my 12 step. I really like Celebrate Recovery also. I know they're more Jesus fans, but that doesn't bother me. I like the camaraderie. But they encourage crosstalk, and it's really hard for me. There is too many voices at once for me. Otherwise, I love Celebrate Recovery. I think it's a great program.
I gotta try another one. I went to one, but it was an early sobriety. And when you're in early sobriety, you don't want to hear Jesus or anything else.
Yeah, we're really defiant against everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But I have found a couple of good books. There's one called "The True Meaning of Christ's Teachings" by some Jewish fellow.
By some Jewish
But
dude.
yeah, but it's like totally like different perspective and ideas.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
instead of just the Christian religion, it's
Yeah, where before I would rebuff anything different or whatever. Now I seek, it says in the big book, we need to see where religious people are right. And now that's what I try and do. I try and see where people are correct in that now, because then I get to learn more. Um, I know this big book forward and backward, but I learn something every time I take somebody through the book. Every time. There's so much more to do. Right now, did going there help with your 11th step?
It gave me an opportunity to sit, right, and learn how to sit.
Okay.
Like, not just like, because beforehand, before I had gone there, I was laying on laying on my back, thinking I was doing meditation. And I
Okay.
was,
Sure.
I was,
Sure.
I was quiet. It is a form of meditation. There's actually you can lay meditate on your back, but I think, like, for me, the idea of getting up and sitting and taking my posture, having my straight back, and being in that meditative position. Now I'm
Okay.
taking it more seriously,
Yeah.
more intent to just focus on my breath and stay with my breath longer instead of just daydreaming, which is going to happen to everybody when you meditate. Everybody daydreams.
Sure.
But the fact that I can come back to my breath, that's the W, right?
Yeah.
That's the point of meditating for me, is just coming back to it.
Well, and I don't know, I think your mind's gonna wander, but it's kind of the point, because what we're doing is we're emptying this so our subconscious can start to work through those problems. And that's another reason meditation is so good. And I would agree. I would rather meditate sitting up. If I was laying down, I'd probably fall asleep. I think it'd be real easy for my mind to wander. Um,
Like moving meditation too. I do a lot of yoga,
okay.
4 or 5 times a week. I'm on my mat, and it's breath work. I've done breath work. I've done everything under the sun, and I get benefits out of all of it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all it can all be part of your recovery, your spirituality, and like you said, it's like I'm open minded to anything.
Yeah.
I'll try it once, and if it benefits me at least a little bit, I'll try it again and again and again. And if it keeps, if it's beneficial to me, then I'll stay on it. But
Yeah. Yeah. Something's kind of been on my mind since it came out. And it was actually in the very beginning that you were on your sixth DUI, and they didn't know about any of that, which is weird that happened, because they're really good at checking that stuff, right? Do you think that was God saying, "Hey, I know you're trying to give this a chance, so I'm going to try and help you get there"? Because it sounded a lot like that to me.
I'm not sure. Yeah, and I wasn't ready to give it a chance when I was there. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what it was.
But it started to get you there. It sounded,
Yeah.
I
Oh
mean, you
yeah.
started there for a reason.
Like the
Uh,
idea of like, even the crazy thing is, man, like, F the police, you know what I mean? F the police.
off.
It's all their, if they never came there. But now today, it's like, God bless those policemen. If
Oh
they had
yeah.
never come, because the way I got pulled over, they pulled into my parking lot where I was parked,
Okay.
and I still got a DWI.
Yeah.
And I held on to, like, how dare they come onto my boat? But now it's like, man, thank God that they came onto my.
Yeah.
I think that was God, is them
There we
finding
go.
me. And
That's where it was. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely God doing for me what I could not do for myself, because there was no way I was going to recover. I mean,
Yeah. And
without an incident.
and I agree. I actually have no problem with the only time I hate the popo is when I'm doing something wrong and don't want to get caught.
Right.
It's the only time. Other than that, I've never had any problems. I've always been treated very kindly. Um,
Yeah.
you know, so, but it's whenever I'm doing something wrong.
It's I've never been in trouble with the law unless I've had a drink.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the saying? I didn't get in trouble every time I drank, but every time I got in trouble, I had certainly been drinking. Right. So, what's life like for you now?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if
You
God
know what?
keeps
There's
testing me.
nothing wrong with weird. That sounds
Yeah,
interesting to me.
like 2 years ago, my sister got married, and the day after she was unresponsive. And this is like glad we have time because I mentioned
Ooh,
in the beginning why I go back from Connecticut and here.
okay.
She went into like a diabetic coma, and and she like she had traumatic brain injury. They said she was never going to come back, but
Okay.
we fought for her. Like, oh, man, we did a lot. I did a lot of things for her.
Okay.
Like to get her out of the hospital she was at, to get her into Yale New Haven Hospital. Like, and I don't know how people that don't have somebody cheering for them or survive in these places. It's a
It
shame.
takes a tribe.
Anyways,
Yeah.
but luckily she had somebody there fighting for her. We got her, and so now she's like in a convalescent home, and it's like a big battle to get her out. So there's like a lot of going back to help my parents. We're watching this 5-year-old child. She has a 4-year. Well, he was 3 at the time. And that's it's changed my mindset because now I don't think of myself as like I feel like I gotta say like be there for my nephew more than anything. So I try to take some directives. Like
I get that.
so I went for my contractor's license here in Florida. They said I passed all the tests. It would cost me thousands and thousands of dollars, and they said no, you can't do it because of warrants.
Oops.
When I first came into this program, my sponsor was like, I told him about the warrants. He's like, oh, I guess you're never going to Indiana again. I guess you're going to be real careful in Connecticut when we're up there. He didn't say, thank God,
He
though.
was trying to tell you.
No, thank God he didn't, because if he did, you know what I would have said? I ain't doing that. I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. No
Yeah.
way.
Yep.
I had the right sponsor. God put the right sponsor in me. He knew that if I had worked the steps, and if anybody works the steps, you're going to have that God moment, right?
You're
So
gonna
I went
figure
to
it
get
out.
my
Yep.
contractor's license, and they were like, "No, you've got these warrants, man." So I had to go and sit in a jail cell in Indiana and
Okay.
take care of that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got to go to Akron, so I've been
There. At least you got something out of it, right?
and I went for Founders Day, man. It was amazing.
See, look at that. And if it wouldn't have happened that way, you wouldn't have that chance.
Yeah.
See, they're cool when we're trying to do God's will. Even the bad stuff seems to turn into gifts. They seem to
And
turn into opportunities.
it's all up here, man. It's all perspective, I said, okay, I'm gonna go sit in a jail cell. Let me see what I can do for the people in there. You know what I mean? Instead of just making it all about me, pour me in a jail cell, I made it an opportunity to go in there, and I made, I don't know if I helped a couple of guys, but I helped them stay. I had meaningful conversations.
Mhm.
I sat and read the Bible with people in while I
Yeah.
was in the jail cell.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Something
know
I would
your
have
Bible.
never done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have never read the Bible. I had never written or read the Bible beforehand, so it gave me an opportunity. I was like, "This is my opportunity. I'm going to read the Bible." I thought I had 30 days. I only had to do 2 weeks, but
In jail, a few weeks does feel like 30 days. It's kind of
yeah,
because it's not like they keep you busy all day long. They're like, okay, everybody, let's get ready. We're gonna go to the library.
yeah,
The most you get is like cornhole and lunch,
yeah.
and
But,
everybody goes up on time for breakfast so they can go see the cute newscasters on Telemundo. So
but it's perception, though, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm going to
absolutely.
go in there and I'm going to help these guys, or I'm going to make the most out of this. I'm going to read the Bible because I know I'm not going to do it anytime anywhere else. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read it, and that's all I did when I was in jail. Read it front to back.
Yeah.
Then and sat there and did Bible study with these guys at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that goes right back to the 10th step. Why sit around with a long face when we can help people out?
Right.
Even in the worst of situations, we can still have an attitude. I mean, it was 2 weeks, and 2 weeks is nothing in the grand scheme of things, really. You know, um, but if for me, I think that's awesome. I have a hard time being locked up. It's part of my CPTSD. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe be able to do that now. Be able to sit down and do that. But I think it's pretty neat that you took the opportunity, and it's directly because of the program.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And if my sponsor had said you got to go take care of this warrant right away, I would have never went to Founders Day.
yeah,
You know?
you would have been defiant, been like, "No,
Yeah, I would
I
have.
do what I
Maybe
want."
I would have went, and it would have just been. It would have been angry, and like, oh, this sucks, but it
And
didn't suck.
yeah, and you would have been there 2 weeks and not helped anybody. But
Right.
there again, God had a different plan. He's
Yep.
like, we're going to take care of it, but not now. I need you here first so that you'll be of maximum service to my children while you're in there.
Yeah.
Crazy how it works. All right. There's sometimes when I feel like I'm missing out on something, God is keeping me from something. And then that whole crowd goes to jail. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now I
Right.
know
It's
why.
like, and the faster and better that I stop judging God's will and why,
Yeah.
and stop questioning why, it's just okay. This just is what it is. Like I can sit here and wonder why this is happening to my sister, or I could just stop questioning God's will and just be there for God and for my sister, and be happy doing it.
Yeah. That,
Yeah.
even if that was the only reason why God got you sober, it'd still be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like we're doing this podcast. If it helps one person, it was worth our time. Worst case scenario here, I ended up with another good friend. That is the
Right.
worst case
Amen.
scenario.
Amen.
Cool stuff. Well, as we wrap up, are there any parting words of wisdom that you'd like to bestow upon the followers, or maybe something simple, maybe a line you use all the time that's real handy for you?
Oh man, if I can say, stay in gratitude, stay grateful for the moment, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow, and if there's no sense in having gloom and doom, because I don't know. If I stay in if I get into that place, I don't like being there. Just stay in gratitude. Just think about the things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
That's been clutch for me. Just start being grateful for my hands. Start being grateful I can walk. There are people walking this world that can't walk or can't
Yeah.
see. It take too much for granted.
Yeah.
Without this, that if without this, I'm going to be happy, or I will never be happy without this.
Yeah.
But you can be happy without that. You just got
Yeah.
to change your perception, and
Got to have the right attitude about it. An attitude
yeah,
of gratitude. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate it. And thanks we had that technical glitch, which I'll fix in post production. But thanks for hanging out and through that. I appreciated that.
no worries.
Who knows? It may even have recorded what you were saying. If so, great.
I
Yeah.
was kind of fumbling a little bit. I don't know. I saw the timer going, and I was like, oh, maybe I should keep going.
Yeah. Good choice. To all my followers out there, thank you for listening. I appreciate all of you. Thank you all for being here. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And remember, no one ever, ever, ever trudges alone.